The flipped classroom. I thought I might illustrate this model by flipping our meeting. So what you are looking at is a screencast, which is basically an audio file laid over the top of a PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to talk you through this PowerPoint really quickly. And the purpose of that is to deliver basic information about our topic. This digital content is all about the flipped classroom. And hopefully you will be able to generate any questions or comments that you may have so that when we do meet, we can spend our time a little more efficiently. All right, so let's get started. The flipped classroom. Bergmann and Sams, Jonathan Bergmann and A.Sams are two chemistry teachers from Colorado. These two are largely the pioneers of the flipped classroom. They've been doing it for about 6 or 7 years now. And they recently published a book, Flip Your Classroom. It was published by ISTE this year. So a lot of the information that I have in this PowerPoint, I used the Bergmann and Sams text. Of course, everything I read I agree with. I've been using a variation, a type of flipped classroom in 4th and 5th grade and did it in middle school and with 5th grade this past year. And I've been doing it for the last 3 years. So it's something that I practice in my classroom. What is a flipped classroom? It's one in which a teacher flips homework for classwork and classwork for homework. So by delivering content via the internet, the teacher can use class time that we would spend going over basic information. We can use that time on enhancing our class, our time with our students, in a variety of ways, depending on depending on the subject, depending on the class. There are many proven strategies that you can implement with this time, and every teacher in America and throughout history wishes and had wished that they had more time, and a well-implemented flipped classroom will offer just that. Here's some key terms. You hear me use the term content. Content is just basically what we deliver over the internet, whether it's a streaming video or a PowerPoint like this or a podcast. Enhanced instruction is a term that basically refers to the type of instruction that the flipped learning offers a teacher. It's that extra time. It's how you use that extra time. And a basic definition for online learning, it's education in which instruction and content are delivered over the internet. Here are 3 broad methods that we use. Screencasting, which is what you're watching right now. Streaming video, which is what I've used for the last few years. I utilize ustream.tv. And the third one there, podcasts, which are really, they're fantastic. They're very versatile. You can do a lot with the podcast. They take a little more time to produce. They're a little more complicated, but the final product is really great. The kids love them. So here's a chart that I sort of modified for our class time, which is about 45 to 50 minutes per class. And you can see in a traditional classroom the activities that would go on. And it's really that third block on the table there. After you warm up and do questions and answers in a flipped classroom model, after you do that 5 to 15 minute sort of question and answer period with a little discussion on the content, the digital content, whatever was delivered the day before, you gain this time that you can use for enhanced instruction. It's 20 to 30 minutes, and that varies, of course, per class, per grade level, and per day, just depending on what you're doing. But you have the opportunity to use that time with higher level stuff, inquiry-based learning, experiments, discussions, analysis, and the last point there, differentiated instruction. I mean, that is really key for a lot of kids. They need that extra time, they need that extra attention, and if that is all this was used for, it would be worth it. And the overall total, and I know in a perfect world we'd get 180 days out of the year, but we probably will never get 180 days of actual instruction. But you can gain a significant amount of time by using the model, 20 to 30 hours a year here at our school. So what do you use this enhanced time for, this extra time, this enhanced instruction? Well, for math, you can go into deep analysis. Instead of going over computation technique, you can actually dig in, do some deep analysis. Science, we can do hands-on experiments. We can get to the experiments more quickly. We can do inquiry-based activities. Language arts and social studies, we gain time to write in my class, which is most important. We gain time to write and peer edit and peer review and become the best writers we can. In addition, we have days where we can discuss things more in depth. We can look at current events, and we can also collaborate in groups. Foreign language, I think, has really one of the best opportunities to gain from this model because they don't meet every day, so they need to make the best use of their face time. So they can deliver basic grammar skills and conjugation via the web and spend less time doing that in class, which frees up time to do grammar, conversation, maybe even literature. And just to illustrate the versatility of this model, PE would even gain because you can go over rules and techniques via the web. You deliver the digital content, the kids watch it, they come to PE. You don't have to spend as much time going over the rules and techniques. You can get to it faster. You can get them moving. Now, there are lots of benefits to this model. So let's just hit a couple of them, and we can spend more time together when we're face-to-face discussing these in detail. But basically, it helps all students, whether they're busy students, whether they're gifted students, whether they have some areas where they need more attention. That extra time can be used for differentiated instruction. These kids can pause their teacher. They control the rate at which the information is delivered. They can also rewind the teacher. That's incredibly important. The flip model increases interaction, teacher to student and student to student. So you have this time that you can spend doing those things that you really wish you had more time for because you have more time. The flip model changes the way we communicate with everyone, with all the stakeholders, obviously with the students, but with the parents as well. Parents, I've talked to parents who've watched these videos with their kids and even watched them when they're not with their kids, after the kids have gone to bed or even at work. It helps them understand the material. It helps open a dialogue with the parent and the child. They can solve problems with this model. They can solve problems that in the past they were not able to solve as easily. It just makes things a lot easier, and that goes to the transparency. The old question, "What'd you do at school today?" is going to be obsolete. That question is going to be asked a lot less and less because the kids and the parents and the teachers, everybody's going to be on the same page. So that's the transparency aspect. And one of the keys is one of the things that I think people really like about the flipped classroom, in addition to the opportunity to get involved in more differentiated instruction with class time, is that the flip model lessens the impact of absenteeism. Now, you have to see your kids. You have to spend quality time teaching your kids. Nobody is a proponent of just teaching on the web, especially for kids. It doesn't work. I've had online classes, and they just are not as effective. You need some face time. But if you have a student that's out for whatever reason, whether they're going to, they're sick, or they're out of town, or they're at some sort of competition, they can keep up with what's going on. They don't get as far behind as they would without something. And it even works for teachers who are out, whether they're at a conference or whether they're home with a sick child, or even if they're, at a conference. They can hop on the web, they can post information, they can generate content for their students that can be delivered digitally in a number of ways. So it definitely lessens the impact of absenteeism. All right, so what are some of the issues and concerns? Well, access is obviously a big concern because without internet access, none of this matters. But for us at Highlands, we don't have that problem. 100% of our students report internet access. Now, they may have some problems, but for the most part, it's 100%. Even if they don't have access, they can watch the episodes at school, before school, after school, during class, during study hall, during some period of time that they have during their day. Technical difficulties. We don't have those at Highlands. We have fantastic resources at our disposal. We have a great internet speed, bandwidth, connection. Everything works great, so we don't have those. So really the only obstacle that schools like Highlands would face is teacher preparedness and willingness. So, with a brief instruction and a little practice, just about anybody on our faculty would have the ability to utilize this concept, this model. And to be honest with you, it's less of a model these days. It's becoming more of a movement. So I know there are a lot of passing fads in education. There are a lot of things that people want to jump on and toot their horn about. But this actually has some teeth and some traction, and it's gaining speed and momentum around the country. So to fight this is a little ludicrous at this point. there are a lot of arguments about lessening screen time, and that, but it's time to just embrace the digital age. It's time to infiltrate this digital culture and make it work for us. And that's what this offers. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I look forward to talking to you more in depth when we meet face to face. Make sure you write down any questions that you may have, and we will see you Thursday. Thank you.